Good evening, and welcome to the May 24th, 2017 meeting of the Local Agency Formation Commission, County of Kern, State of California. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Fowler?
Present.
Commissioner McKibben?
Here.
Commissioner Sanders?
Here.
Commissioner Rivera?
Here.
Commissioner Scribner?
Here.
Commissioner Mello?
Here.
Commissioner McGuire? Commissioner Couch?
Here.
Commissioner Garola?
Present.
Thank you. And next we will do our Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Commissioner Rivera to lead us in the pledge. Salute pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, next item on the agenda, item number 3, is approval of the minutes of the April 26, 2017 meeting, and I'm going to turn to Mr. Blair Knox, our executive officer. I know there's a couple of corrections that we need to make to the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We only have actually one correction.
Is your mic on?
I believe so. Yeah. Let's try that one. Good. I turned Tom's on. Got to be careful. On the last item, on the vote, it has Commissioner Fowler is absent. She was at the meeting. One of those cut and paste errors. We apologize. Glad you were here for the whole meeting. But yes, we need to make that correction within the minutes.
Okay, very good. Excuse me. So very good. So do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Mello and a second by Commissioner Couch. Please cast your votes.
Motion passed, all ayes.
Thank you. And next item on the agenda is public comments. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the commission on any matter not on this agenda and over which the commission has jurisdiction. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. Does anyone have a public statement? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 5, which are under notice public hearings. First, we have item A, Kern LAFCo 2017-2018 final budget. Mr. Knox, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The item you have before you is the 2017-2018 final budget. This is the Commission and public's second and last opportunity to review and comment on the LAFCo budget for the upcoming year. The Commission approved preliminary budget was sent to the county, cities, and special districts as required by the Cortese-Knox-Hertzberg Act. No comments were received. The final budget is required to be adopted by June 15th because we have our meetings late in the month. We're here adopting the final budget here in May. Let me highlight a few of the items in the budget for your consideration. The bottom line of the final budget is the same as the preliminary budget. The only changes made was for the elimination of the purchasing card expense item, which you as the commission voted to eliminate last meeting. Most of the budget previously in purchasing card expense was moved to office expense with a small amount into legal expense. Let me talk a little bit about the reserve. At the last meeting, the commission approved a change in how the reserve is set. Previously, it was set at a fixed $50,000. At the recommendation of the Policy Committee and approval of the Commission, the reserve is now 10% of the budget. In addition, the Commission approved keeping additional funds in reserve for accrued staff sick and vacation time that has been accounted for in the budget but not paid out. A revised calculation based on our last payroll puts that number at about $12,400. Up from the approximately $9,000 on the budget sheet that you had in your packet. I will calculate it again before the end of the fiscal year, so it may be a few dollars more. And just to refresh your memory, the previous budget, 2016-2017 final budget, set aside funds to pay for the accrued sick and vacation time of the former executive officer, so that's already taken care of. So with that, my recommendation is approval of the final budget.
Very good. I'll now go to the public. I'll ask if there are any members of the audience that would like to make a comment on the budget. Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the commission. Any questions, comments, or I'd entertain a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Couch and a second by Commissioner Sanders. Please cast your votes.
Motion passed, all ayes.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is item 6 under Public Project Review. And item A, 1704, this is City of Bakersfield, Annexation number 671, Norris number 1, County Service Area 71, Detachment I. And Mr. Knox, can you start us off on this item, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application was received February 9th of this year. It's consideration of the proposal of annexation of approximately 30,001 square feet into the city of Bakersfield. The proposed area is generally located at the southwest corner of Norris Road and Forest Park Street. This property currently has a single-family home. It is expected that the property will be added to another parcel already in the city of Bakersfield and divided into 4 parcels for residential development. While that is the general concept of the project, it's not part of the hearing today. This application is just for the annexation into the city. Therefore, a notice of exemption has been adopted by the city of Bakersfield. And I have to point out another mistake in the agenda. It actually says the notice of exemption was adopted by the West Kern Water District. That is not correct. Once again, that was a cut and paste error from the previous meeting. So I wanted to point that out, that we have made that correction. The city has assigned an indemnification agreement. Environmental impact statement is a notice of exemption. There is no increase in taxation. Zoning will be consistent with current and surrounding properties. It is consistent with commission policies. There is no ag land conversion. It conforms to the assessor's parcels, and there's no conflict with the general plan, regional transportation plan, or specific plan. And there's no functional overlap. As this project is less than 10 acres, you do not have to consider a disadvantaged unincorporated community. City has a current municipal service review, and there's an adequate water supply. This project has 100% landowner consent. The process required by the Cortese Knox Hertzberg has been followed, including notices to affected agencies and any notices and publications required by law. Annexation of the city has 100% landowner consent. The city has requested notice, hearing, and protest hearing be waived. It is the recommendation of the executive officer to waive the notice, hearing, and protest hearing and approve this reorganization.
Very good. Do you have any questions from the commission before I go to the public? Okay, seeing none. Are there any members of the audience that would like to make any comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the commission.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Fowler, a second by Commissioner Sanders. Please cast your votes.
Motion passed, all ayes.
Thank you. And next on our agenda is item B. This is City of Bakersfield Annexation number 674, Rosedale number 12, County Service Area 71, Detachment J. Mr. Knox, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this application was received on February 9th of this year. It's for the proposed annexation of approximately 1.15 acres into the city of Bakersfield. The proposed area consists of 1 parcel located south side of Rosedale Highway, approximately 500 feet west of Patton Way. Notice of exemption has been adopted by the city of Bakersfield. This proposal has 100% landowner consent. Indemnification agreement has been signed. Notice of exemption meets the CEQA requirements. There is no tax increase. It is consistent with current and surrounding properties. The zoning is consistent with commission policies. There's no ag land conversion. Conforms to the assessor's parcel. There is no conflict with the general plan, regional transportation, or specific plan. No functional overlap. And again, this is under 10 acres. It's not a residential area, so it doesn't qualify for looking at disadvantaged unincorporated communities. The city has a current municipal service review, and there's an adequate water supply. The process required by the Cortese Knox Hertzberg has been followed, including notices to affected agencies and any notices and publications required by law. The city has requested Notice, hearing, and protest hearing be waived because of the 100% landowner consent. Therefore, it's the recommendation of the executive officer to waive the notice, hearing, protest hearing, and approve this reorganization.
Thank you, Mr. Knox. Any questions before I go to the public? Are any members of the audience present that would like to make comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the commission.
Move approval.
We have a motion. We have a motion from Commissioner Couch and a second from Commissioner Mello. Please cast your votes.
Motion passed, all ayes.
Thank you. And next we have item C, Kern Tulare Water District Detachment AC. Mr. Knox, please.
Yes. Before you have proposed a detachment of approximately 182.2 acres from the Kern Tulare Water District of land consisting of a now fallow cogeneration plant. It's non-operational and is not expected to return to operation anytime soon, therefore not needing a water supply from the district. The district has signed an indemnification agreement. Notice of exemption meets the secret requirements. There's no tax increase, no zoning change. It's consistent with commission policies. There's no ag land conversion, conforms to assessor's parcels, and is not in conflict with the general plan, regional transportation plan, or specific plan, and there's no functional overlap. There is 100% landowner consent, which we received today, which was good. Last minute, but we got it. Process required by the Cortese-Knox-Hertzberg Act has been followed, including notices to affected agencies and any notices and publications required by law. The district has requested notice, hearing, and protest hearing being waived. Therefore, is a recommendation of the executive officer to waive the notice, hearing, and protest hearing and approve this detachment.
Thank you, Mr. Knox. Any questions from the commission before I go to the public? Are there any members of the audience who would like to make comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the commission.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Couch, a second from Commissioner Garola. Please cast your votes.
Motion passed, all ayes.
Thank you. That brings us to item 7 on our agenda. Are there any commission items today? Okay, seeing nothing from any of the commissioners, we move on then to item 8, general business. First, we have approval of claims list number 17-04.
Motion.
Second.
You have a motion from Commissioner Mello, a second from Commissioner Couch. Please cast your votes.
Motion passed, all ayes.
Thank you. And now item B, under general business, City of Bakersfield Annexation Stockdale number 12 extension request.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bakersfield proposed annexation number 659, proceeding number 1689. The original application was in February of 2016 for the annexation of 563.74 acres along the south side of Stockdale Highway, generally between Nord and Union Pacific Railway. The application sent a letter on July 12th, 2016, requesting a hold be put on the annexation while the landowner resolved issues with the property. Kern LAFCo has a policy that requires that within 1 year, a proposal be brought back to the commission for consideration, be extended, or be terminated. The city asked for a 3-month extension back in February, which was granted by this commission. The landowner is still interested in annexing, but will need time to work out some more issues before the item is brought to the commission for consideration. The city of Bakersfield is requesting an additional 3 months to resolve their issues and complete this application process. It's the recommendation of the executive officer to grant an additional 3-month extension to annexation proceeding number 1689. 3 months means the application needs to be complete and ready to go to the commission for the August 2017 LAFCo commission meeting. The recommendation for the extension is under the condition that the applicant update the property owners list and any other extensions, any other time-sensitive documents that may be out of date since this application is aging. If no action is to move forward is given, then the application will be terminated, and the applicant will have to start fresh with a new application, map, fee, et cetera. So I'm asking this to be the last extension on this application. So that's my recommendation.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Knox. Are there any members of the audience who would like to make a comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the commission. Staff's recommendation is a 3-month extension.
I'll move approval of the staff's recommendation.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Mello. Commissioner Fowler.
Is there a single landowner?
My understanding, it's a single landowner, but multiple family members who are involved
Gotcha.
with that family farm, and they're working out their issues between
I
themselves.
see. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Couch. Do we have-
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Fowler. Please cast your votes.
Motion passed, all ayes.
Thank you. Do we have any additional staff items?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You may have noticed today, sitting with our clerk, Gianna, we have somebody new. Since the last meeting, we've hired a senior analyst. It's been kind of over a 2-year process to get to here, but we now have 3 full-time staff. I'm very pleased to introduce Bud Rice. Bud comes to us, well, he doesn't really come to us. He's been with LAFCo since 2011 as our GIS specialist part-time. But he has a background in cities, having worked for the city of Taft and the city of Delano, worked with multiple special districts, both as a consultant on his own and with Quad Naf. And he's going to be a great addition to our staff. We're already making updates to several of our documents and kind of learning our way through the process that part he hasn't learned yet. So it actually helps me to go through it a second time as well. So that's a great. Anyway, very glad to have Bud with us. He's going to be a great help going forward, and appreciate him taking the opportunity.
Well, Mr. Rice, welcome. Our tradition here is for a new staff member, a 30-minute speech. So welcome aboard. We're glad to have you. Congratulations. Any other items for? Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. Knox.
Yes, a couple more. Ethics certificates. Currently, everyone is up to date, but we have a few certificates that will be expiring soon. For those that are expiring, we'll be sending out your information on how to be compliant with the regulations, for that, and there's several different options. So we'll be sending that out to you. And my last item, of course, is our next meeting, which will be in June, 28th of June, 5 o'clock here. Great way to start out the 4th of July weekend.
All right. Thank you so much. If there's no other business, we are adjourned.